Welcome to Dajobnik, the vanguard of truth and insight, your command post for clarity and perspective.
Maliki for his statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Israel. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at the outset, I wish to thank France and to congratulate you on your recent appointment and wish you the best in your crucial position. Today, you have a historic opportunity to shift the focus of this Council to the real and grave security threats. The Middle East is suffering from a cancer, and up until today, the Security Council has only ever discussed providing aspirin. Cancer, Mr. President, is not treated with aspirin. The time has come for this Council to address and eliminate the root of this cancer, and not only its side effects. Distinguished Council members and colleagues, we live in a backwards world. 18 years ago, Israel fully withdrew from Gaza in hopes to build trust with the Palestinians and chart a path towards a joint future. Instead, the Palestinians voted in the Hamas terror organization, and since then, under the UN's nose and its agencies, Hamas has exploited international aid and turned Gaza into the war machine that it is. Hamas dug hundreds of miles of terror tunnels and manufactured tens of thousands of rockets. Hamas did not hide its genocidal goals of annihilating Israel. The world knew this, the UN knew this. On October 7th, Hamas's agenda of Jewish genocide became a reality. My people were deliberately butchered. 1,200 murdered in a single day. 240 children, men, women, and the elderly taken hostage. This act of sheer evil was proportionally 20 times bigger than 9/11, 20 times. And Hamas leadership have publicly sworn to commit such massacre again and again and again until Israel is destroyed. Yet, shockingly, many here on the Security Council are advocating for a permanent ceasefire, while giving no thought to the implications. What do you think will happen if there is a ceasefire? I will tell you what will happen. Hamas will remain in power, they will regroup and rearm, and soon Israelis will face another attempted Holocaust. Is this the outcome you seek for all of us? That once again Israel will be forced to carry out another defensive operation in Gaza? Do you truly expect us to leave our hostages in Hamas terror tunnels? As long as Hamas remains in power, a very dark future is inevitable for all of us. How can you call for a ceasefire and mention a solution to the conflict at the same time? This is a complete oxymoron. You cannot have both. It's impossible. Hamas seeks to annihilate Israel, and if you support a position that will leave Hamas in power, you cannot pretend to wish for a solution to the conflict. The past 18 years have proven this. But dear friends, there is a formula that can end the bloodshed. And if the Council stands united behind it, then it will materialize. Should Hamas turn in those responsible for October 7th, and should Hamas release all the hostages, this war would be over immediately. This is not a war that Israel chose. But we will defend our future just as each of you would defend the future of your country. Colleagues, today's meeting demonstrates the pinnacle of the UN's absurdity. Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad are vile terrorists, but these forces of terror are a mere symptom of the true security threat in the region and beyond. There is a regime responsible for sponsoring 90% of Hamas's terror budget, as well as arming them and training them. This is the same regime that supplies Hezbollah with precision missiles and provides the Houthis with ballistic missiles. And all this is carried out in order to wreak havoc and instability in the Middle East. And soon, these acts of terror will be carried out under a nuclear umbrella. Yet, the Council basically ignores this enormous threat, the threat that is the Ayatollah regime of Iran. How absurd is it that the foreign minister of the #1 state sponsor of terrorism that aspires to destabilize the Middle East is here today to address the Council? Can you imagine Hitler's foreign minister participating in a serious discussion on how to defend the Jews during the Holocaust? This is an upside-down world. The representative of a regime that publicly calls for the annihilation of the State of Israel publicly is advising on how to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A truly upside-down world. Colleagues, we hear calls to avoid a spillover of the conflict. I want to clarify. This spillover is not happening magically. It was planned and instructed. The person directly responsible for the terror attacks throughout the region for this spillover since October 7th will be sitting here soon. Minister Abdelhayan represents the regime that arms and instructs Hezbollah to target our civilians. He represents the regime that transfers weapons and intelligence to the Houthis. Without Iran, the Houthis would not have advanced cruise missiles or UAVs to target merchant vessels in the Red Sea. Look at this picture. These are Iranian weapons that were seized by the US Navy on their way to the Houthis. This is clear proof of who is masterminding this so-called spillover. Mr. Secretary General, has Iran's foreign minister come here to be held accountable? We all know the answer. Iran always stands in the shadows and pulls the strings. They always claim deniability, but the evidence is right here, just like in many other cases. Will the Council finally address the real threat to regional security? Mr. President, every country in the region has been affected by Iran's tentacles of terror. Saudi Arabia has been attacked with Iranian-supplied UAVs and ballistic missiles. The United Arab Emirates suffered several drone and missile attacks on its soil, including a strike on the Abu Dhabi airport. And recent Iranian strikes in Iraq, Syria, and Pakistan are further proof that Iran will stop at nothing to expand its Shiite hegemony. In Lebanon, just as in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria, Iran is the architect of instability. Even the people of Iran themselves suffer daily, and you know it. The Iranian regime murders women, murders innocent protesters, and just yesterday another innocent Iranian, Muhammad Kubadlu, was executed. And while innocent Iranians swing from the gallows, Minister Abdelhayan will sit here and lecture us on the sanctity of human life. Iran is even responsible for arming and training the Polisario Front to carry out terror attacks in Morocco. And its hegemonic ambitions can be felt in Sudan, Mali, and Niger as well. But Iran's terror doesn't end only in the Middle East or Africa. Albania was hit with an Iranian cyber attack. And as we all know, Iranian drones are being used by Russia to kill civilians in Ukraine. Iran's terror will reach all of you. We all know this, even Russia, who collaborates with Iran. If the Council continues to focus only on providing aid to Gaza, which is truly important, it is important to provide aid to Gaza, but ignores the root of the dire threat to the Middle East and the world, the Iranian threat, then, Mr. President, our collective future will be a very dark, radical Shiite future. Thank you, Mr. President.
Je remercie.
I thank the representative of Israel for their statement. I shall now make a statement.
Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.